Yo, what's up, Stormbounders, and welcome here with MKM with the update for next month. Let's have a look at this amazing banner Sheepyard has made for us, introducing us 3 new ancients. As you just seeing here, those are looking pretty cool, pretty weird with their theme. Like, ancients goes all over the place, like the different pantheons are getting shown, or the crazy ancient color scheme here, or the energy with weird aliens. So basically we do not know what the hell anything can be an ancient nowadays anyway. So let's see what this update will be all about. So this update is going to be about balance changes, new cards, new brawls, and a little bit of FAQ. And also this has been given to us by Stormbound Kitty, so feel free to check it out. Go check out the updates yourself, but also check out all the good stuff this website has to offer. So what's up with all these balance changes? Well, there are 5, as you can see here, and well, let's just go from top to bottom. So Demotivating Strike now costs 3 mana, down from 4, and its ability deals basically 1 less damage. So what was Demotivating Strike? Was a recently given card, which disables a target's unit's ability and then deals a little bit of damage to it. I think it's a very good one that this isn't a 4 mana anymore. Like, on execution level, it was way too similar. And something like this you want to use as a disable, right? You want to annoy your opponents, Dawn Sparks, annoying hairy chestnuts like those elders, or well, there are some insane ancient legendaries like Zero, the Osiris one. So yeah, having a 3 mana, disable it if you cannot kill it, because you can prop those up defensively, and then something like an execution just doesn't do it. Obviously, as a swarm player, you have Broken Truce, or as Winter Pack, you have like the Icicle Burst, and you can do the freeze shenanigans, and some of those things. But well, I don't still think a card like this will become meta anytime soon. But I might see this card being used in certain brawls when you have like a lot of undead effects, or ancient brawls where everybody has moving or whatever. So something like that might make Demotivating Strike an interesting pick. So well, I'm happy that they make this change. Still not gonna be top tier or anything, but it's nice to have it. So next one is Underground Spring. Ability now grants, well, just read it for yourself, 1/1/2/2/2/3/3, and that's basically getting a little bit more at the higher levels. So that's good for getting extra base health, which you obviously want as an Winter Pact player. Sometimes also 4 mana, especially on higher levels. Things like this is very interesting to have at your disposal, because it blocks off a lot of stuff in front of your baseline. But getting those extra HP is most likely what you want the most. So I think it's fine. It also removes the card a little bit quicker from the game board. So even as a rush player, you don't have to deal with this hassle that for too long. It just removes itself a little bit quicker. So overall, a nice way upgrading this card a little bit, making it more fun to play, and a little bit more fun to play against. Obviously, you don't want your opponent to have more HP, but the board is clearing up a little bit quicker. So the next one is Blessed with Brawn. This is a huge one. Now costs 5 mana, down from 6 mana. And its ability grants a little bit less damage, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. So at max level it's still 300% mana strength-wise. And lower levels a little bit different, but overall getting like a buff by 1 mana reduction. Obviously strength gets reduced as well, but for a Winter Pact that wants to go really aggressive, this is a huge buff. So this is something Maybe you want to try out as a Winter Pact aggro player and put this as one on your top end of your cards that is expensive, and then put a lot of cheap stuff there as well, because that's also easier to get Blessed with Brawn. One of the downsides is if you are playing something like Archdruid Aaron, you cannot actually give your well, it's a small strength reduction, right, because the mana cost was already free. But I think overall Blessed with Brawn is good for the mid-range and the aggro side of Winter Pact. Very fun to play with this. Already recommend doing it with 6 mana, so I will definitely recommend it with 5 mana. So the fourth one, Emerald's Tower ability, now grants 2, 2, 3, 4 and 5 strength. It's basically from level 4 and level 5 a little bit more strength. So that's big for later on. Let's have a quick look at the card for anybody who isn't that aware of this card, because you don't see it this often, obviously, during matched games, not even anywhere else. So yeah, this is a fun card that you might want to play if you are playing Shadowfen or you are playing with Swarm. Something like this can be fun. Most of the time you just go with both kingdoms to its respective alternatives, where obviously in Swarm you're gonna play Moonlit Aerie, and where on Shadowfen you most likely are going to play Broodmother or Bragda or Kindred's Grace, or just go for something like that, right? But having been playing with this card before all its buffs, it was somewhat okay to fool around with. Now obviously not top 10 Hero League or anything, but it was already fun to play with. And every time it gets a small buff like this, especially on the higher levels, it becomes a little bit more interesting. Like 5 strength, 2 in 1 card or 2 copies. It's nice, and also this card has plenty of structure strength as well. Level 5 it's already 8 strength, so it's a beef you want to remove. So overall I'm happy, and that's basically for all the buffed cards. I wouldn't say it's like whoa super duper or whatever. Maybe Blessed with Brawn might definitely see more play, but the rest is just nice tweaks to just get them up from the gutter into a more fun playing field. So the nerf we're gonna get is Broodmother Scordia. Strength is now 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. It's basically 1 strength down from how its current version works, and the Dragonling's strength is also 1 strength down on all levels. Well, I'm just gonna say this card was strong as hell. There's a lot of forced counterplay for this card. Like you want to have a lot of AoE. Think of like Needle Blast, Blade Storm, Dark Harvest, Siege Breakers, or just runners in general. Like on every league there's a lot of hard counters for Broodmother Scordia. And in Hero League this card was just played in all the Shadowfen decks. So having a card reduced a little bit, I think it's fine. This card has still a lot of value, and the fun thing is if this card sees less play, we might even see less Siege Breakers getting picked. And if we see less Siege Breakers, Broodmother Scordia becomes stronger already because there aren't that many hard counters. So it's gonna be a weird dynamic, and I'm gonna love to see that in action. But what I do love more about Broodmother Scordia's nerf is the compensation we can get. So basically, it's very important for everyone, by the way. If you can upgrade Broodmother Scordia without using Fusion Stones, just do it, because this is just insane. You get like, if you have it on level 1, you get 1 Fusion Stones and 20 coins. Well, not so much, but it goes all the way up to 300 coins and 50 Fusion Stones at level 5. So for example, if you are at level 4 and you still need like 1 copy from Broodmother Scordia, you just get a free upgrade plus 300 coins discount on it. Because you jump from 20 to 30 Fusion Stones, and every missing copy is like 30 Fusion Stones. So just think about it, look at your collection before the next month starts, because the balance changes will come in immediately. So that's just some advice for anybody who can upgrade this card. So please make sure you check that out. So the next one are the 3 new epic ancients that will join the neutral pack during the month of May. And the first one we see right here. It is Big Sisters of Growth, 4 mana. And it starts with level 1 with 4 strength and then just goes up with 1. Before moving, vitalize itself, then give 2 strength to weaker friendly units. So this really sounds like a buff to all friendly units, obviously. It's a bit like a Primordial Bragda, who gives strength to everyone. So obviously this is a card that will be seen in Shadowfen a lot. And a nice thing and touch of this is its effect isn't immediate. As you can see, it has 0 movement. So you have to, well, unless you are Swarm, obviously, with Forgotten Souls or Petrified Fossils or Herald's Hymn, this card won't move at the same turn you are playing it. So that might be a good argument to also try out this card with Swarm, with Forgotten Souls, most likely, because then it's a 7 mana combo where you just spam a lot of tokens, right? So that's one thing. But yeah, its ability also goes up to 3 strength, and it's continuously giving value if it moves. So yeah, it's insane. Obviously your opponent can have hard counters, just like we see the motivational strike. Something like that might be interesting, but might also just use execution since it doesn't get stronger than an 8 strength. But yeah, this will over time get some serious annoyance if you haven't have a way to deal with it. It's 4 mana, it's a lot of 4 manas nowadays. So we're gonna see a lot of variation in the 4 mana slots. Also just reminding from people, especially in the higher leagues, things like Siege Breakers, and if you want to play structures, most likely the amount of people who are running Siege Breakers declines, because you don't want to have your whole deck around revolves around 4 mana cards. So overall, I like the card art. It's a bit more ancient, Chinese or something. I'm not sure. That's how it looks like, with a cute bonsai tree or something. So yeah, it's a nice one, and I like also it vitalize itself. But that's something we will look around for the upcoming cards as well, why that matters. So the second one, it's Agile Warriors. Before moving, deal X damage to a random bordering enemy unit for each friendly unit. If that unit dies, move towards its style. It starts with 2 strength, goes all the way up to 6. So and it has 1 movement, so its effect might start immediately. Well, first of all, I really do like the card art. I don't really enjoy the perspective that much. I like maybe a bit more the flattened one, but well, how this card is going to look, it's maybe I'm just digging the samurai vibe with some cyber stuff going on, but why not? I enjoy it. So basically, before moving, deal X damage to a random bordering enemy unit. So that's really nice. You just have to place it beside someone, and then it goes there. If that unit dies, move towards its style instead. So this card can actually also just walk backwards. So this might be an actual really good card for defending your own baseline or going into weird spots. Obviously, there's a condition where you have need to have plenty friendly units on the board. That's, yeah, I'm not sure. It feels like Rain of Frogs, Azure Hatchers is gonna be a friend of this one, and otherwise it's gonna be Swarm, where you have like Queen of Herds and all, just the token spam. So these 2 kingdoms seems to be the most interesting for the first 2 new ancient cards, but hopefully we might see usage of this in other kingdoms as well. But for each friendly unit, yeah, that can jump up real quick. So for example, if you just play Rain of Frogs, you spawn 6 tokens. Let's assume all level 5. Then you have 6 tokens, and this card also deals 12 damage to a bordering enemy unit. Obviously it's random, so might be a bit awkward for your opponent to deal with it. So you can most likely, pretty sure, just hit one unit you actually want to hit. And then it's 12 plus 6 strength for 4 mana. So that's 16 at its highest value, which is pretty sweet. And it still has before moving. So if it just survives another turn, your opponent has to play around it, which gives some awkward positioning, or this card needs to be destroyed. So there's a lot of things going on. The nice thing is that this ability doesn't trigger on the enemy base. That would be insane, right? Dealing like 18 base damage. But luckily we don't have to be scared of shenanigans like that. And the last one is Timber Alchemist. It's a 2 mana card and 1 movement, and it goes with 1/1/2/2/3 strength. And its ability: before moving, steal all status effects from all friendly units and gain 2 strength for each unique status effect. Well, I said 2. It differs from 1 to 3 depending on which level. So yeah, this is what I said. In combination with Big Sisters of Growth, it vitalizes itself. So that's also one additional self status trigger. But the first thing when I just looked at this card is like, what the fuck? This dude is like floating. It's like those guys who are on the market squares with a head where you need to throw in money because he's doing like a trick, like he's floating, but there's like a steel pipe in his cape that's keeping him afloat. But on the next thing I thought is, well, if this card combines with the Tree of Life, like the Winter Pact structure that vitalizes friendly units all over the board, it's just insane. You can just steal all their status effects, and for 2 mana, if you have like 3 vitalized Winter Pact cards from the Tree of Life, you basically get additional 6 strength. So you have like a 9 strength vitalized 2 mana moving unit on the board. And the nice thing is as well, it just keeps doing it. It will just keeps doing it. And if your opponent is like, well, I'm playing poison, I don't know who does. It's a bit more popular obviously in the middle leagues, like the gold and the silver. So this might be a fun card to play around it. But so basically I don't think you want this card to only be triggered by your opponent, because then 2 mana 3 strength or 2 mana 2 strength on level 3 is just too bad. Like, you want to have self-inflicted status effects, and I think with Tree of Life it's the most easy. But there's like a bunch of self-inflicting status effects. So basically a list of other self-triggers we have in the game is Erratic Neglects, Toxic Sacrifice, Crimson Sentry, Function Wilds, Potion of Growth, Blizzard Bombs, don't forget that one, and Suri, that also vitalize all the things, and the new Big Sisters of Growth. So there was a bunch of self-inflicting status effects. So I think for everyone there is something to fool around with. So definitely check this card out if you have it. And depending on the meta, this card might become a nice thing to add, because then you can actually get a lot of value out of it. And another nice thing about this card, what I really like, is like this is the first 2 mana card that doesn't scale like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's so stupid, or like 2 to 6 or something. Like, those scaling is just redonkulous, and having a card as just 2 mana 3 strength that actually needs its ability to be effective, I think that's great. I'm very curious to see how much effect this card will have. This card will grow in strength whenever the card pool increases, because maybe more self-inflicted statuses will be coming around. So, the new Brawls, similar to what we did the last month, we will introduce 3 new Brawl modifiers for the 3 new cards. We think it's a good way for you to be able to try and play with and enjoy newly added cards before you start collecting them. Like last, a 0 mana level 1 unless owned and leveled copy of the new card will be added to everyone's deck, thus causing all decks to have 13 cards. First we will start out with Big Sister, Agile Warriors and Timber Alchemist. And I just want to note out this line, like last time, a 0 mana level 1 unless owned and leveled copy of the new card will be added to everyone's deck. I'm not playing these brawls, but I'm fairly certain, like in the past I've sent a lot of messages to Sheepyard, to Brazoza, also asked the Brood Sages, a nice podcast from Stormbound, also to talk about the unfairness, what I believe to be like having 2 0 mana level 1 or leveled to level 3 copies of the card, and now it just seems to be just the one everybody gets is 0 mana. So that's definitely less pay to win, and I'm happy. It's like a huge win. You just try to promote the discussion and then see actual change being made to the system. So congrats to all of us who wanted that. So last but least, the FHQ. When is the update going to be released? Well, everything with the season reset will be the balance changes, and the new cards will be May of 15th, May of 22 and the May of 29th. So plenty of new cards. And how do Timber Alchemist works? The status effects: Timber Alchemist steals are vitalized, poisoned, confused, frozen and silenced. So silence is a good one. I forgot to put in Stir Protectors in the list. That's a neutral, so everybody can silence everyone if you want to. I'm not sure in the combination with silence, because Timber Alchemist will steal and be silenced. So note that they steal status in regular order, top to bottom, left to right, which matters when stealing both vitality and poison. But does it also matter with silence? I'm not sure. We have to check that one out. But I'm happy that some wonky donkey shit like this will be happening. But it's weird, right? If you just copy Frozen and then this card won't move. I don't know. Let's see and find out what is going to happen with this. So that's gonna be the update for this month. I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts about are. Have you a similar opinion on it? Or do you want to hear some more thoughts? Well, let's discuss it in the comment section, or just chat with me in Discord. I'm very happy that you have watched so far, and I hope I will see you next time. Cheers!